support India's rise as a power. US-India has demonstrated it has the will and the capabilities to stand up to China, said Lisa Curtis, Deputy Assistant to President Donald Trump and Director of the U.S. National Security Council's South and Central Asia Bureau. In remarks to U.S. think tank, Brookings Institution, the senior White House official said, China's recent aggressive stance at Lak in Ladakh fits with the larger pattern of perceived aggression in other parts of the world. The U.S., on the other hand, supports India's rise as a power and a net security provider in the Indian Ocean and beyond. In the current India-China crisis, Curtis said, India played the economic card by banning Chinese apps and putting a hold on Chinese investment contracts. And I think the rest of the Indo-Pacific region is watching this very carefully, adding that the region would be encouraged by India's resolve. The U.S., both the Trump administration and the U.S. Congress, have openly supported India in the current crisis with China. On July 21, the U.S. House of Representatives unanimously passed an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, slamming China's aggression against India in Galwan Valley and its growing territorial assertiveness in and around disputed areas like the South China Sea. The bipartisan amendment, piloted by Steve Chabot, R., and Ami Bera, D., stated Congress opposition to Chinese aggression against India in the Galwan Valley on the India-China border, and expresses its concern toward the growing territorial assertiveness of China. Yesterday, Curtis said, few countries are more familiar with China's malign influence than India, but thankfully, beginning to see disengagement of Chinese and Indian forces after a few very tense weeks. But the pressure that China put on India on the Lak will have a long-term impact on how India views the relationship. It will change the dynamics between the two countries, she observed. 25 years ago China did not take India seriously, she said. India was seen as inward-looking and lagging in its economic indicators. 15 years ago, as India's growth and military capabilities began taking off, there was a time when both countries thought India and China would work together and usher in a new Asian century. From about 2010 or so, differences over the long-standing border dispute re-emerged and each side became uncomfortable with the rise of the other. China's influence in India's neighborhood, such as in Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Nepal, moved from economic to more and more interference in domestic politics.